Hello everyone, my name is Ben Hellowell, and for 2 years I worked as a sales professional in Silicon Slopes, and I sold software to small and medium-sized businesses. Now, by raise of hands, how many of you have ever worked in sales before? Okay, a few of you. Now, how many of you hate talking to salespeople? Okay, I figured that would be the case. Now, I learned this the hard way. Every day at work, I'd pick up the phone, I'd call prospective customers, and I'd try to convince them why they need the product that I was selling. And every day I'd get people that tell me that they didn't need my product, they didn't want to talk to me. In fact, they've actually done studies, and they found that only 3% of people enjoy talking to salespeople. Now, even though I learned this the hard way, I also learned in my experience at Silicon Slopes that building a tech company is impossible without your sales force. In fact, sales are vital. Now, why are sales vital? Sales are cheap. Now, when you think of expenses, there's usually two types of expenses. You have your fixed expenses and your variable expenses. Now, your fixed expenses are things that do not change on a monthly basis. So your rent, your utilities, your labor costs, and your variable expenses are things that can change on a monthly basis, like, for example, your marketing campaigns. Now, speaking of marketing campaigns, the way these tech companies build a marketing campaign is they first buy a large data set from these data analytics companies, and that data set tells them everything they want to know about their target consumer. So everything from their favorite color, how old they are, how they voted, what they usually buy, what types of products they like. There are thousands of data points within these data sets, and from that they can build a marketing campaign to convince their target customer to buy their product. Now, there's a few things wrong with this. The first is that these data sets are very expensive. A lot of times they'll run in the multi-million-dollar range. And the second thing is that there's no guaranteed return on investment. So as a tech company, you can spend multi-millions of dollars from this data set and building your marketing campaign, but there's no guaranteed rate of return. Now, that's where your sales team comes in. Your sales team, all they need is their cell phone and Google, and they can go out and get you customers to buy your product. And as a tech company, you save money because all your expenses are just your fixed labor costs. So why else are sales vital? Sales are marketing. Now, we look at this picture, there's a lot of different big brands on it. Your Coca-Colas, your Samsungs, your Apples of the world. And they will spend billions of dollars a year on their marketing budget alone. Now, these ad campaigns are meant to do two things. First is it's meant to get your attention. So if you were going to go buy a car and you see a Toyota ad, you are more likely to go buy a Toyota car. At least that's what Toyota hopes. That's the purpose. And the second thing about these ad campaigns is to inform you of what their product actually does. Now, as you can imagine, these ad campaigns are very, very expensive. But they've done studies and they found that only 7% of their target customers are actually affected by these marketing campaigns. So in other words, 7% out of 100 are either willing and or able to buy their product at a certain time. So how do you reach the 93%? That's where your sales team comes in. Your sales teams hop on the phone, they call customers or prospective customers, and they convince them that they have a problem that your product can solve. Now, what is the most important reason sales are vital? Sales builds brands. Now, Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world, and in order to build their brand, they built what's called a proof of concept. Now, proof of concept is simply that you can prove that your product does what you say it does, or that your product can solve a problem that you say that it solves. Now, in order to have proof of concept, you need time to build it, and you need a large amount of customers. Now, when these entrepreneurs, when they build their tech companies, they have neither. And so they can't build a marketing campaign because marketing campaigns really just build off your proof of concept. In fact, these tech companies, these entrepreneurs, they won't build a marketing budget for 5 years. So in the first 5 years, all they do is they hire a sales team, and that sales team goes out and gets them a large amount of customers, and they prove to those customers that they can solve the problem that they say that product solves. And then based on the results of that, now they have proof of concept where they can now go out and start a marketing campaign. So let's review. Why are sales vital? Sales are cheap. Sales are marketing. Sales builds brands. Sales are vital. Thank you.